Well, speaking of being a shame, it's Divas time, not women's time still at this point here. It's Divas action. And it's Dana Brooke and Emma versus the team of Bayley and Charlotte. And do you know what? I mean, I talked about how I was so into the Four Horsewomen and their various storylines. One of the storylines I was so much into was Bayley and Flair becoming a team. And Bayley essentially winning Flair over and in turn turning her babyface. And I was so into all of this, and I absolutely loved the pairing of Dana Brooke and Emma. So when I saw this was on the card, I was like, oh, this is two of my favourite things just coming together. This is great.
Yeah, that was a really good storyline. And I love Evil Emma. I love babyface goofy Emma. But Evil Emma was so cool.
Yeah. And I was so into Dana Brooke. I thought green is goose shit, but I was just so into. I thought she had so much potential. I just thought she looks amazing.
Well, you tell Jim Cornette that. That looks amazing, because she was a professional bodybuilder. She looked like she could destroy anyone there, even Flair, who was much taller. And also, she just looked like such a unit.
Yeah.
She was like the female Rhino. I wouldn't want to get in a fight with her. But she also had, and it's really overlooked now because she has just been booked into oblivion. And I thought she couldn't look any more stupid on that Money in the Bank ladder match, where she gets the briefcase from inside the boardroom and she's celebrating. I thought, this is your jump in the shark moment if you've ever had one. But back then, in NXT in 2015, only a few months in, she just switched profession from bodybuilding to this. She took to it so naturally in terms of being the cocky heel, patting people on the head, sort of trash talking when she was wrestling. She wasn't the smoothest, but she was only going to get better. But as we always see in WWE, they somehow make people worse.
Yeah. Because she went up to the main roster to be Charlotte's protege in a storyline that just went absolutely nowhere, which is a real shame. I thought she has so much. And this team are the perfect foils as well for Asuka when she comes in next year, the year after this. They're just it works so well together. I just thought I really enjoyed this team. I kind of made a bit of an error as well when I read out this match, because really it was Dana Brooke and Emma versus Bayley and someone cosplaying as Charlotte Flair, because that's definitely not the same person now.
What the hell has happened here? That's her sister, right?
Yeah, it is. It's not the same person.
Yeah, because people. This was 5 years ago. I looked different 5 years ago. But I do have the basically same face.
Yeah, you are recognisably Ollie Davis.
And my chest area has increased a little bit in size. A workout. But not so much as Charlotte's.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Anyone can do what they like to their body. It's just stunning to see how she looks like a normal person here. But now she does look a bit like an action figure. And that you want your wrestlers to look like superheroes. Full credit to you.
I think you look at Bayley looks exactly the same. Yeah.
Or like Sasha Banks and Becky, they look like young versions of themselves.
Yes, absolutely.
Bayley does look the same.
Yeah, she's not aged at all.
No, but Charlotte looks like a totally different person. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not Jim Cornetting this. Just want to put it out there.
Dana Brooke looks like a totally different person as well.
She does. I didn't want to say, but she looks like a completely different person.
But there's the theory, isn't there, that that's not the Dana Brooke we have now. Isn't this Dana Brooke?
Like the Ultimate Warrior one, I don't believe. But if you could quite easily convince me they're different people, and if you put, and I'd be like, I mean, you might have a compelling case here.
You and Cornette. You liked NXT better when it was white.
But this is a pretty standard tag match. It goes it goes about 7 minutes or so. And it's just, the heels work over Bayley. Rich Brennan makes a Napoleon Dynamite reference, which Corey Graves doesn't get, which is a shame. The crowd are trying to get themselves over by chanting for Dana. Emma does her sliding, that sort of sliding crossbody she does into the corner, which Rich Brennan calls the Emma Might sandwich.
Yes.
And then they say, and then one of them, I think it's Saxton, says, "Oh, she doesn't call it that anymore." And I was like, I didn't know she called it that in the first place.
Yeah, presumably a riff on Vegemite,
Exactly.
the famous Australian version of Marmite.
Yeah, I just didn't know that's what it was called in the first place. But anyway, then Flair gets the hot tag. There's a pretty awful big boot to Dana Brooke and nearly falls over in the process. But then it's quite nice. There's a double DDT. Emma hits a crossbody that Flair rolls through into the figure eight. This was my favourite moment of the match, though, where you talk about how Dana was still quite green at this point. She gets in to break it up, but gets in slightly too early. So Bayley's not in position because the plan is that Bayley's going to crawl underneath Flair to stop Dana Brooke. But Dana Brooke gets to it and to do a double axe handle and just stops. She's got their hands in the air and she just stops over them and then waits for Bayley to go underneath. It did look a bit rubbish.
She glitched. I thought the idea of that finish, though, was very, very inventive. Yeah. I think that's cool. And then, Charlotte hit the natural selection on Emma to the win. I wish she won more matches with the natural selection. I think it's a really cool looking move. What I found, it's easy to forget with Bayley now a heel and how she was never booked properly on the main roster. But man, she had it with the crowd, that emotional thing. And calling her the female John Cena that actually works almost became a cliche at the time because everyone would say it. Man, WWE, they finally got John Cena. A John Cena that works with the crowd and adults love her too.
Yep.
But then, that didn't transpire. But when when it's her getting worked over in the match, the crowd are a different kind of invested. They are definitely emotionally invested. And when Charlotte tags in, it does step back a bit. They're cheering the spots and they go, yay, Charlotte. But it's not the same kind of cheering. And I just thought, it's interesting to see that be extrapolated out over time to where we are now, where that is kind of her problem. She's a very good technician. She can wrestle very well. But she doesn't have that babyface connection with the crowd. And she really should never be a babyface.
Yeah. I know, I completely agree with you. You're absolutely right. Everyone was saying at the time that Bayley is that female John Cena that they've been desperate for. And I remember I wrote an article for the website that you and I used to write for that was just I am in my 30s and I love Bayley and that's okay. And just talking about how she has got such a connection. You and I reviewed Brooklyn 1 in our Patreon archives. I cried watching that match.
Yeah.
Because I get so emotionally invested in Bayley's journey. I was nearly brought to tears when I saw her in London because I was just so madly into Bayley. She was. And I just thought there's absolutely no way they can get this wrong. It would be... her and Sami Zayn and Enzo and Cass were the three acts that I thought it would be impossible to bollocks this up on the main roster.
Yeah, and they got Baron Corbin right.
Baron Corbin, they improved him. But I thought it was a perfectly fine standard match. It has no place on current day takeovers, but in 2015 takeovers, it was perfectly suited.
For a Wednesday night 2-hour special, sure thing.
Yeah. Vinny V would write in Brian Alvarez's Figure 4, would say very weird at the beginning and clunky in spot, but fun by the end, 2.25 stars. Dave Meltzer would give it 2 stars.
I think that's harsh. I think, that so much of this is brought up by the crowd that I'm quite happy to not give anything under 3 stars.
Yeah. We then get clips of Sami Zayn debuting on Raw in the US Open Challenge, where he was introduced by Bret Hart, and sadly injured himself doing an entrance.
In the video, though, they say it was Cena doing a backdrop.
Yes, so they retrofitted what happened to it was because Sami Zayn injured himself doing the entrance. You actually see it later on, but they change it to that Cena injured him with that backdrop.